99, early 2000, somewhere there. 154 Market Street, Lee Club. Just got off the cab. Ciphers everywhere. I think my first cipher, Asylum Tribe, was having a cipher there. And that's where I got introduced to Pro. Lyricism on another level. We got inside. If you remember Lee Club, you had to go up the stairs. They called him up on stage with Asylum Tribe because he was a #1 Asylum Tribe member. Got on stage, killed it. Fast forward, Lee Club Yavala, Asylum Tribe does an event at Kite Center. He teams up with Slingshot. They had this chorus, man. It went something like, acting wild like these hostile Zulu niggas. Bah, bah, I blew you niggas. Woo. Fast forward, 2003, Black Sunday Yankari. We're bringing hip-hop now from the metropolis and closer to the people in Malokshi. DJ Ken Zero used to play this beat in our horns. And ProKid's like, yo, I want to perform this song I wrote. And that song was Soweto. Fast forward 3 months later, Black Sunday sort of dies out. We start Islaches. Pro comes through every Sunday. Most people won't believe this. Pro was always the first guy to get to Black Sunday, the first MC. He'll be there. And we like teasing him, we're like, only to realize with this guy, after church, he doesn't go home. He's so driven by his passion, who's straight to Slaches with the Bible. And you know, I'm a microphone was someone by us would start Abu 5. Imagine this guy was there from Abu 11, Asneta putting the sound together until he gets there Abu 5 to perform. You know what I'm saying? And then something special happened at Slaches. I think as people started gathering, he realized that, man, I'm an English rapper, but I'm not connecting to these people. Then he came through the following Sunday, and he was like, guys, I wrote something in Vernac. And he spread it. And I think that day, South African hip-hop changed forever. South African hip-hop changed forever. Because he kicked it in a way that had never been done before. Don't get me wrong, Vernac rap was there. The Amus had done it, the Selvins had done it, the Shimanis had done it, but he did it in a way where people were like, you'd come up with a line like, Magic compared to Ajinda or Bali Jake Commission Buza, like, oh. Like I always say, he painted his words so vividly, even a blind man could see them. I mean, he's got this line, Mati, Mshisina, Bamating Pema, TF. Like, imagine that. Like some double entendre type. His rhyme scheme was so layered. So he took the Zulu language and he just, you know, bent it and he played with it so dope. Fast forward, he works at Skipper Bar. When you go to Southgate, you remember seeing Pro there at Skipper Bar. Okay, I think that's my cue. I can go on forever. But I next to right here with you.
Sure. Okay, I'm going to exit from Asylum Tribe. Yes. Okay, I'm going to promise I'm telling you DJ plays this other time at the club. But every single time you're rapping every week. I got this new kid, man. His name's ProKid. So like, you know how our rappers are, everything's whatever. But only to know if I have to talk in 2 weeks time, we linked up and then we made magic about the club, you know? And then fast forward things like that, he ended up having to link up with number2.com. And then my hands are up about EP like this on hotel episode. We couldn't call us people who promoted. There's a lot of cats like you who claim to be God off the mic, but when they rap, they only sound sort of. Get caught off when I come and put the call off and plug the mic. The session's over now, forward. Okay, tell me something now. I was like this now, the one I'm going to do so sunset before, get it, after now, but too late. The solution.
Okay, so I'm at Pro in the cipher, and I think it's only fair we send him off to the cipher.
Touch.
I gotta say this though. All the trap music, hip hop, we gotta be honest. Before all this trap that we see today, this gave birth to the pros, to the to the F-Easy. Is F-Easy here today?
Yeah, he's here somewhere.
We have to say one thing. No rapper will battle pro at any given time.
Yes.
Signed or unsigned. You have to have a good medical aid to battle pro. We know that. We know that.
Okay. All right, Taj. So we're gonna move on with the program.
Yeah.
We're gonna take a look at a presentation from Sid Money, who was Pro's manager.
Yes, indeed.
I send my condolences and deepest sympathies to the family of Linda and Kize. You had a star among stars. You have a king among men. To the country, you had one of the most talented individuals that I've ever seen. And you were blessed with the presence of one of the purest hearts. My history with Pro, Linda, goes very far back. He was a brother, he was a friend, he was a colleague. He will always hold a very special, special place in my heart. My experience in my life in South Africa, a lot of it was an experience with him. When I first met Pro, I almost couldn't believe what I saw. It was at an event. Myself and my partner, Simpiwe and Kosi, were throwing a battle, and my sister happened to be visiting. My younger sister happened to be visiting me at the time, and as he was battling as a contestant, I looked to her and I said, "Glenn, have I been away from America for too long? Or is this kid one of the illest MCs you've ever heard?" And without hesitation, without batting an eye, she turned to me and she was like, "I've never seen anything like it before in my life." And I was like, "Yeah, because this is a bad boy." And subsequent to that, I knew. And I had this feeling that from that day, me and Pro would start a journey together. And that journey led us to conquer some of the most unconquerable feats. We planned and what we set out to do actually got accomplished. And for that, I am deeply grateful. To Pro, walk on, young soldier, walk on. Walk on, young soldier, walk on. As you pass through this life, to the other side, they await you too. So you remember, when you get there, you give them one of the hottest 16 they ever done heard, and hit them with them crazy head smacking punchlines right up across the face. I'll miss you. Your country will miss you. Your family will miss you. in Zanzibar will miss you. Because you're from the southwestern township. Where they get down, kid. From your boy Sid Money, VIP Mashalan, Mr. Hall. I love you. And I'll never forget. You will always be in my mind, in my heart, in my memory. You will always live on. PRO. Love you to death, brother.
Thank you, sir. Okay, so that's Sid Money there.
Sid was Pro's brand manager there /
Yes.
His first endorsement deal was Player Sport. I don't know if you remember the brand Player Sport. Those who want it, yeah, they signed ProKid in 2004.
Do you know that Pro was always into fashion because he worked at Ski Baba
Yeah,
and Highgate?
proper.
So those Mother Rice t-shirts, he's been at it.
Yes, and I just feel this is not on the script, but if it wasn't for Penny Libiani, Metro FM would have never commissioned a hip-hop show. So I just want to give some respect to Penny because they gave us an hour. They gave us an hour, and I remember the DJ used to come after Penny. When there's 2 minutes left, they'll start picking, like, let this hip-hop thing finish, please, let it. And then it grew to 4 hours. And I want to give respect to Zach Takile, because Zach was the guy who took me to Pro's house to meet ProKid at his house, and we were burning his first single to come and perform.
Yeah.
He didn't get to do it, but he smashed it on Rhyme and Reason, and the rest is history.
I was actually thinking when Sid Money was talking, where's Simpiwe? Because Simpiwe is the one who started the trouble
True.
via Zach, bringing all the boys,
Yeah.
not to the yard, but from Soweto to put them on.
But I'll tell you what you're about to witness. Ladies and gentlemen, Saudi Western is in the building. I'm about to call M8 Double on stage. Welcome. You know, this is synonymous. You ought to tear it up. Show some love for Saudi Western's performance. Baggy and M8 Double, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you.
Celebrate the day. All times are great. Just celebrate the day. Just celebrate the day. Life refused to die. Try to bruise you right now. All you give is a lie. Try to let it go. I know you lose your mind every minute of life. Destroy your critical minds and reaching it is fine. Love you got you off guard like prison at last. Oh my, you thought you so hard. Just celebrate the day. One more time. Old time is a run of your life. Old time is a run of your life. You're scared of dream. Just celebrate the day. Just celebrate the day. Old time is the run of your life. Old time is the run of your life. Don't be scared to dream. Just celebrate the day. Just celebrate the day.
Thank you, thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, that's Saudi Western.
Saudi Western, what would we be without our dreams, guys?
I was the first crew with ProKid, Saudi Western. And you know, hip hop is so powerful, it does the unfathomable. Later on, we're going to have an amazing coalition. We're going to have 16 bars from CIC. He's going to drop and spit some stuff. Julius Malema is here, ladies and gentlemen. It's a collabo. Him and Mr. Zizi Koto.
I'm sure Zizi's gonna
be
do
a
it
proper
also.
16 bars just to show the industry that they're still in touch with the streets. Yeah. We got something special though. Before that, we have a special tribute that we'd like to do ProKid. And whoever's next to perform, please make sure you're next to. I think you have a program, so we don't want to look for you. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the tribute for ProKid.
Action, social bigger check, and the fingers clappers and fastest colors and shine cash. Mind check, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, when I'm a young group, I'm getting check, it's go live. I'm sabotage, I'm a team, everybody's alright.
What was ProKid to me? Flip. ProKid was like the Nas. I'm like up with African hip hop.
And the contribution he made to me personally is like it motivated me.
What his legacy is gonna be is forever remain. You know, he is the pioneer of Mokasi punchline. Mthola izinto azikwazi ngazo njengoba shikekasi. Uyazithatha sifake osifaka ku-mainstream.
To me, I mean, his legacy is basically even what we started when we started Skanda. It's what when he said, and that's where we got the whole Skanda thing, and that, to me that's what I will hold dear to my heart forever.
He changed the game. Like, from hip hop, from before I go, how much he was hip hop. He made that transition. I was there to witness it. Like, he changed the game in terms of he made the ghetto to understand wordplay and knowing the dog. You can flip rhymes with the neck and still make it nice. So what his contribution is that authenticity created a guy that represents
represented his whole hood. But I love him. I love every single thing that he did, man. All the input that he did from the battle raps. And I know nobody forgot about the Kato battle and the program battle, right? Sure. I know this is a publicist stunt and somebody's bluffing. If you like this one, go ahead, get a muffin. Fuck it, man, you know I done split you. The same way I came back with raps and I hate you. You just mad cause I'm from Soweto and I came through on the mic to represent the same streets of Jersey. Still rap ill and I switch no authority. When you need me, you ain't really shit of course.
One of the greatest of all time. He's actually the one rapper
Legacy wise, no one can ever match the artistry that which was Pro. He gave us that freedom. He liberated us, you know. So that's his legacy for me, and I'll always remember him for that, doing that, giving a voice and making a guy going into a taxi who knows nothing about rap to understand where I come from as a rapper. For me, that's what more. I don't think anything else can ever just surpass that. So for me, Pro was that guy that actually crossed hip-hop lyricism and hip-hop at its purest without sounding commercial into the mainstream. When you listen to Words of a Warner, for example, that wasn't like a commercial record, but what he did with that record and being able to cross it over to the mass market and also with Soweto, and I think his legacy was his genuineness. He was authentic to the hood, he was authentic to hip-hop, and he was a pure lyrical genius. And I guess this is why people are chanting, this is why people all in each other, because Pro was the definition of genuineness.
So much that in all his albums he has a song dedicated to Soweto.
True. You know you gotta be talented to call yourself number one Soweto boy.
I mean,
like Abo, no Kwaito artist contested, no jazz musician.
Nobody.
So that
no gangsters, no bank robbers, no politicians.
Next.
Everybody say sure.
Number one Soweto. Done.
You know the words that have been coming throughout those conversations. I mean, his commitment to his craft, authenticity, artistry, a voice of a generation, a whole era by himself, a lyricist, his own man.
Yep. Ladies and gentlemen, the list is long, and this is going to be a thing we're going to reflect as we remember Pro Saturday is the formalities. So I've been asked to let people just be themselves. We are here to celebrate Pro. So break all this tension in this room. Be who you are. Don't roll a blunt.
Okay. Well, wait.
Please.
Wait. So there is really no radio station that can claim him. One of the biggest battles on radio was on YFM on Fresh's show.
Do you remember that battle?
Do you remember that battle? Alright, so let's take it back.
Kato, you're gonna start though, right? Yeah. Alright, roll the time for us. Let's go.
Okay. Just tell me the moment that everyone's been waiting for, right? Alright, go.
Yo, you so dumb it'll take 3 of you to battle me. Cause you one of the most predictable MCs. Like Guala, Gula, Yankees and blah blah blah. Sid Money promised to take you to America? I thought so. Well, I'ma chew you like a nacho. Make the manager relocate to Burkina Faso. Fresh on the scene, ProKid, hip-hop queen. A really ghetto version of so easy, I'ma finish you easy. You can't be serious. Those bubblegum rhymes that you drop, you only tease me. A real MC has gotta have flair. You need to collaborate with Zega, then maybe you'll get a hit. Maybe you'll get a mask to cover that big head. You better hope it'll fit, but you should never set foot in the underground again. Cause if I find you there, you're bound to get an ass with it. Take a close listen, I'm not dissing. Come on, everybody needs a little competition. By little, I mean you. Little pro, good thing I got you. Getting free play the sports, I'm getting free food. Literally, I'm way older than you. You cannot do like I do. I think it's bad.
Sure, I should be done here. I said, as I'm a harass, this is and police is one time. Say, champion too. Sure. I know this is the publicist stunt and somebody's bluffing. Sincerely be so, go ahead, get a muffin. Muffin, man, you know I gotta split you. The same way I came back with raps and I hit you. You just mad cause I'm from Soweto and I came through on the mic to represent the same streets of Jersey. Still rap ill and I switch no Jersey. When you day you ain't gonna be sure cause. What banana you still think you's a rhymer? I'll say I expect, I let out that you just a timer. Well I can tell you this, you can't hear what I'm saying. But what? Bring it up, we gotta be playing. I know that you be thinking that I'm rapping, but I'm thundering. But pardon me, man, I'm not scared, I'm not stuttering. You probably thinking that this is middle opponent of Alfie, man. I'm here to face this damn moment. And you know that I come through the best. While you're still trying to do the ish, trying to contest, well I can tell you this. Screw you and the sexy flow, cause I'ma make you run like pantyhose.
You know, ladies and gentlemen, that's part one. That battle put some people to the symmetry. And one artist who still remains my top 5 till this day, he gave you spirit, he gave you, the catalog is insane. And I've been asked to be very brief. Let me welcome on stage Questa, ladies and gentlemen.
One thing very, very obvious. Don't go sharp, you know. I'm co-granny, I'm not going to pretend like I am. But because I have to be brief, I'll tell you a story of how I got to listen to Heads and Tails. Being in Newtown call, and we went to Albertine, Sabami Caps, Albertine, City Show. Like I was just taking album like a problem, you know. So, serious. When you get a album like a problem, good bell tour. I believe 85 rand. Then I'm only heads and tails with 65 rand, right? And I'd only heard Pro on I think a Mr. Selvin song before that, so I wasn't really sure. And I think the day I pressed play on that heads and tails is the day my life changed personally. You know, I'm rapping upon the man. You know, I don't exist. Agiko, and I want to make that very, very clear. The only reason that I am here and that I exist, the only reason, there's absolutely no other reason, is that man. You know what I mean? And what I loved about the man is that, see that smile, it was the same, what I try and embody also. He's the same in real life as he was in the bars. You know, he never took off the fact that he was pro-Uli, you know, or Sedokshin, you know. He wore that very proudly. Until this day, I try and embody that every way, but I want you to really understand that whatever I do from here on out, or whatever I've done, the blueprint of when, why, and how I do it was laid down by Ulinda ProKid. So with that said, I wanted to prepare something and say, Death, be not proud, this, that, and the third, and I wanted to say all those things, but today, Death better be proud, because you got a good one, right? Death got a good one today, you got the best. Death better be proud, because if you're not, then we're coming for you, you know what I mean? Death must be proud today. To the family, Minantandu Bo, thank you very much for raising a man who would come and affect my life like that, you know. Every single time I met him, he always wanted to hear what I had to say, always has nice words for me, you know. Thank you,
Costa.
Okay, so we're gonna call on right now Dope. So remember Dope just being this little kid coming through to the station. He's a whole grown man now. He was ProKid, one of the first producers.
Yes, ProKid's first producer, ladies and gentlemen. Please welcome Dope on stage.
aka Donkey Dog. We're here to greet the families, Yali Ndamkize, the Gaza family, Ndamkize family. And we're here to thank them for giving us a legend of a man who actually pushed us, or pushed me individually, to be greater than I am. And when I say epic, all you need to do is look around here and see how many people are here. And I'm sure like 90% of the people here bought the album, the other 10 stole it. Now, the thing is that to actually understand that, you must understand where I live. I live with Deep Roof Extension, which is on the other side, the bourgeois side. And ProKid, who did that clip spray. So when I met him, I was like, I can really still, he's mashed slachis, you know what I'm saying? So I was like, hey, I need you to come through. He said, yeah, sure, I'll come through, 6 o'clock, out at that spot. He comes through, we rap, we finish. And we walk out, as we're walking out, the track was amazing, and I'm like, hey, he's like, no, get on to traf. From Deep Roof to Clip Spray, then from Clip Spray to Deep Roof. You know what I'm saying? And he kept on moving, He didn't stop right there, you know what I'm saying? He wasn't really satisfied with that. He went from trying to get gear from somebody to getting his own gear. He went from, you know, catching taxis to having 2-3 cars. You know what I'm saying? Went from bringing down the house to buying his own houses. So I'm really hurt, you know what I'm saying, that I lost a brother. But I'm not sad at all, because this man lived. This man lived long and proud. And once again, though, I'm hurt, and I would like to say rest in peace, my brother. Thank you.
Dog, he's changed, man.
He's grown.
This guy he used to be like...
He's grown, he hasn't changed, he just grew up.
He's like, such a... He produced for a reason too. Wow, you're right. He was in the bourgeois side of Deep Club. He had a studio in his bedroom.
Yeah,
all goes to his bedroom. The first time I learned how to manipulate radio pre-recording the show. I was in this bedroom, and you guys will think I was in the studio.
Oh yeah, that's when you came back from America.
No, you know.
You used to call us at 4 a.m. in the morning harassing us. Yo, Penny, man, I'm in the streets of New York, man. I'm going to hang out with Angie Martinez, man. And Hot 97, man. I think you're going to be South Africa's Angie Martinez, man.
And that guy was responsible for all of that. Show some love for Dome, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. So let's call on Reese Maniz, who's the ProKid's DJ.
Hello, Sanbonani. Yo man, Ikam Chanta, but yo, Ulinda in Bisa Obres Mandes, and I used to be on the ones and twos for Ulinda. And for the past 300 days, Ulinda taught me a lot about the industry. He taught me a lot about music, as a DJ, what I need to do, and Suspense Kaman. And one of our battles was on some who's fitter than who. And then it's like, you know what, let's go to the court. Sahamba say I can't review. I played an hour. That's a no dog, you won this battle. So Linda was that kind of guy. He used to love competition, and he made sure to win. And for that, I will take with me. And through this journey, Gabon would say 1 year into my life, and it was a time we would say out of that stop. And Gabonga Linda, R.I.P. my brother, Gabonga, it is what it is. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. We're going to have a performance of ProKid's biggest single ever. That, I think, remained on the charts for some weeks after weeks. It's going to be performed by somebody special. It's such an emotional moment because we were there when the song was recorded. Thank you, Bob. We were there when the song was done. Amutami Sokati, you know the story. It's performed by his younger brother and Red Button. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to have to introduce the song. You're going to have to stand up for this one. You're going to have to stand up for this one, please. Yes. Sing it.
If
Thanda ukuthi jabulisa cela ihlezi mkhumbule ukuthi lona bekamncanya over and above. We always represented you guys. We always represented where we come from. Shout out to people like Rip and Soul, a silent tribe, Deep Soweto, Saudi West, all the people that grew up with Pro in the same place we are at today. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Sandile, for the courage to stand, perform, and even say those words. That's Pro's younger brother. He looked up to his brother. The guys who are here, please just take cognizance of the fact that Ayanda is sitting right behind you. So when you stand, she doesn't see what's happening on stage. I'd like to acknowledge the MEC of Sports, Arts and Culture and Recreation in the Gauteng government, MEC, of course, culture. We've got the MEC as well, and we also have Mr. Vusumus Mkhize, who's here to represent the Minister of Arts and Culture. Mama Faith is here sitting with us. She's been traveling this journey with us as we've been planning for this day as well as for Sunday.
Even our DG of Arts and Culture here, Mkhize.
Okay.
And ladies and gentlemen, all protocol observed. For those who have my number, don't SMS me to acknowledge you. I won't do it. This is ProKid.
Part of my job today is to watch you touch. So I'm watching you. So what's going to happen now is that we're going to have Simpiwe, who's Pro's former manager. We're going to have Fumu, who is a friend. We're also going to have Tabiso Khati, who's a former artist and repertoire manager at Galo, speaking. But before we get to that,
if anybody from the media lost a voice recorder, we have it on stage. It's got to be somebody from the media space, so we have your voice recorder. Please make your way on stage, and we'd like to give it to you. Thank you.
Okay, so right now we will listen to that second part of that battle.
No, that's not all I gotta say. Huh? Scared of what? Well, I'm sleeping up from the hood, I chill with crooks. If I'm scared, it's cause of you, but you got ugly looks. Other than that, I really got nothing to say, except that you're more feminine than the word gay. So hey, you can bring it back, man. You think you got 4 years? How long have I been a girl, what? 4 years, I've been there 8 months, and I done took over. I ain't camouflage, homie, but you're looking at a soldier. Now my chance to gas, I have the Gucci fed, they don't fabulous, cause I'm just rocking this microphone so miraculous. You just jealous, but hey, you gotta tell us, don't be feminine, the body's baby boomers and the scanners. Now everybody out there is listening because I'm killing you. More like I'm bullying you, right? Yeah, you're right, I'm drilling you. A big hole is all you need and I'm just feeding you everything you need. Hey man, let me just proceed it through. Okay, fine, let's just give him a chance, cause you'll know that it's nothing but a circumstance. But I can tell you this, I'm about to make it harder, so you don't have to rap and do that Google Gaga. Oh wait, don't rap. Before you even try to spit, you're not good for this beat, so hey, switch that dish.
Okay. YFM Entertainment Minute is over now. So check this out. Pro boy, you irritating. You're like a Mongol, ejaculating. Come on, man. Who the hell do you think your face is? Think about it twice. I'm nicer than you. Much nicer than Brad advised them put the bicycle. Okay, yo, I turned off your lights a long time ago. Okay? The whole play that flow that you do was played out. Now please change the beat for me. I'm not feeling it. Get me something really tight so I can make the meat of this punk. You know, you're not even freestyling, so it's supposed to be freestyling.
That's true, don't freestyle.
Come on, let's freestyle.
Great, butterfly, wait, stand. Go on.
Let's freestyle, Joe.
You want to freestyle? Okay, it's cool. How about you start first, you might jump in the pool, but I'ma be up here and make sure you hold it down, but don't bubble up, goo goo gaga, cause you might drown.
Keswa, Nguni, Bofana, liyasibekela, maqhaqhambo ezulu eliphezulu mbulo omuhle, Keswa, Mkhize, Gqwabe, Khabazela, Amavovo, wena wasembo, malala mahle, Mkhize. All protocol observed to all leadership in the House. Sanibonani, Ngisimpiwe, Ngwakhosi. Ulukhulu, but we soldier on. Ame magama siwela maningi. Utsi Miles Monroe. You must decide if you are going to rob the world or bless it with the rich, valuable, potent, untapped resources locked away within you. Linda ProKid, you fulfilled your purpose. Siyabonga. The gentleman who spoke earlier, Sydney, or what we used to call him, Mashele. We were not managers, we were stewards. If we hope to become effective and successful in life, we have to learn to be good stewards. Stewardship means being accountable to God for every resource under our care. Linda was the resource. Effective stewards do more than simply keep things running. They add value to everything they have responsibility over. Under a good steward, resources will appreciate in value. Obkize, Bogcwaba, Okeswa, Slaggees, hip-hop community, Siyabonga. We were privileged to be stewards. In Shiangalaw Magama, in Jesus Christ's name, Amen.
Ngiyanibingelela nonke egameni lenkosi yethu Jesu, amen. So igama lami uPhumulani Msandiwa. I'm Linda's close friend, very close. Ulinda ngahlala naye in the 90s. I think he moved to Eklespreit, I think ngabo 95, right? And when I spoke to his mom earlier in the week, I was asking her ukuthi kuyenzakalani so that I can figure out what to do today. And uma wakhe wathi uLindo uyamazi. And so I got that as my cue as to what it is that she wanted me to necessarily address namhlanje. uLinda I don't know how much uLinda had a magnetic pull. The way besimthanda ngakhona, uLinda besimthanda. We used to conspire. The time usahlala eJabulani, we used to conspire mina noPhumlani ukuthi sikwazi ukumletha eKlipspruit. So we used to figure out tricks on how to get him to come to us. And I remember ngoba ukhulele Anglican yase Ipelecheng, there was a point where we thought we'll hook him with church.
So sithi hayi sonto lakho labhora uze sontweni lethu. Eventually he came into our church, and that's where we grew up together, mina noLinda. And what his mom would have wanted me to do was to open scripture, because as we grew up, I grew and became a pastor. He grew and became the ultimate #1 Soweto boy. And I remember he used to push us to rap. Enzo. I remember Magas introduced, and I remember that verse because Beshamba Sukibeli train in his field. Magazati, as I start to shoot to niggas verbally, pollution niggas coming out with only figures like this also Zulu niggas. And I was really niggas because I never knew also, so he would always reference my ingredients. So my ingredients, acidified agents, helium, starch, bicarbonate, and excellence. My ingredients, acidified agents, helium, starch, bicarbonate, and excellence. Because he loved excellence. There was a time when we were a crew seeing ancient independence, But I've been cut. Penny said I can go on. So this is what I need to read. Jesus is talking to a crowd and he says, "And this is the will of him who sent me, that I shall not lose any of those that he had given me, but I shall raise them up." Olinda was a Christian and God didn't lose him. He made sure he held him. You see, the prayers of your parents will keep you in this life. But the prayers of your own prayers are the ones that will give you eternal life. Linda made those prayers. Thank you.
First of all, I would like to thank the Mkize family for giving us the GOAT. Those that don't come from hip hop, when we say GOAT, we mean greatest of all time. Linda Pro embodied everything hip hop. He embodied everything. He ticked every box, the checklist for GOAT: lyricism, charm, hit making, song making ability, influence. Before Linda, in South African rap, hip hop, there is pre-pro and post-pro. Before pro, we were all Mapanga, my man, this and that. Post-pro, all of a sudden we were accepted. The hood really rolled with us, and to see that transition happen, I was fortunate enough to work with Pro on his first album, Heads and Tail. We actually launched the album right here. What's crazy about the day is Bassline was as packed as it is today, but there were more people outside than there were inside. And this was his first album. It was only out for 2 weeks, and it showed us really how much South Africa was ready for ProKid. And I remember when we were going to shoot the Wozo Wapona video, he wanted Uguspinama Kushesha on the video. And there was a street legend, Ekasibatu Bubezi. And I remember going to see Bubezi and asking him if he could bring his Kusheshes and if he can spin on the video. At the time, Bubezi had not heard of ProKid. So as I'm sitting with him there and trying to convince him to be in this video, I thought, okay, let me just play you this song. Because as he's thinking, boom rap, boom my man. I played him the song, I swear to God, not even halfway through the song, he's like, I'm in. And he brought like 4 or 5 of his kusheshas that day, and they were on the video. And once again, it showed the influence that Pro had, because you could identify with him. You could see this is the hood, Kikasi. His wordplay, just everything about him represented Soweto, South Africa.
And that's the one thing he did for us. He took this thing of ours and he made it acceptable to the masses. Thanks a lot, and to the family.
Thank you, Tabiso. Fumu, the rapping pastor. Selwyn, looks like you've got competition there.
Yeah.
And who else? Who spoke at the top? Spirit. Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't know if you remember Babs Toilet. You haven't joined us at that time. The former CEO of SABC, Mr. Peter McClary. On the only Saturday he decides to come to the studio. He wants to see what is this hip-hop show. ProKid happens to be the guest that day, and he asked me, so this hip-hop Antuga you need to know. So when he gets in studio, ProKid wants to do a cappella. Do you remember when Pelumo Yasan, Heads and Tails? There's a verse that says, I can't finish a verse without a punchline. And it's like, fuck backstabbing. Then I'm so Baza 99. Do you remember that?
Wow.
I was suspended the next week.
That's how we lost the show. Okay, let's hear that battle.
It's an outburst. Now I thirst for your blood. It's a curse your community is drowning in the flood. Be the first that will find dead in the mud. If you hearse, I will burn headache. Not to be a black, I want a manhunt. I know exactly who I want. So don't you come and try to put a silly stunt, because I'm not finished.
You see, it's mad focus. Cats is hopeless. Get a blunt, maybe you be the dopest. I protect you, spin up whipping, switch the stanza. You wouldn't be high even if you got screwed by Sansa.
I give up.
Why you giving up?
I'm giving it to you.
I'm gonna spit it up.
Yeah, go ahead.
It's more like ghetto dustbins, you can't pick it up. Yeah, I'm not finished.
I'm fresh, I'm giving it to him, it's fine.
Why you giving it to me? Weren't you hungry for this? What happened to your appetite? Huh? Let's do it like this, okay? Let's do it like this. Let's just do it like this. Let's do it like this. You know what? If you're trying to rap and be elite, rather get some manicure to make your image complete. You're too feminine, homie.
Can we do one last round after this?
No, it's cool.
He's giving it up. Why is he giving it up?
Why are you giving it up?
I'm giving it to him, he's taking it anyway.
I've always had it. Wow, for me, one more for me.
Alright.
Yeah, one for me. Okay.
Radio is theater of the mind, and that's why it's still the most powerful medium. They're taking you back, courtesy of YFM, on a fresh show on the drive, I think, back then. Or was it breakfast? Breakfast. Okay.
Tato. Yeah.
Yes.
It's in the morning.
So right now, let's get Wandile Nzimande. He's going to be our second speaker. First, we're going to start with rapper extraordinaire, businessman, Slicker. He's going to talk, and then Notende is going to give us a musical performance.
Before Slicker comes up on stage, there's a WhatsApp group with all artists. I want to say to everybody in that group, I've never seen so much solidarity. I've never seen so much unity. I just hope post-Pro's burial, that spirit can go outside the group and be more prominent in our day-to-day life. Welcome, Slicker, please.
How?
Sorry, a little bit of confusion there, I'm over. Sanbanani, to the family. I just wrote a speech because I want to be short, I want to be to the point, and I want to say what I need to say, right? So, it's not that I'm disrespecting you guys, I just want to be prepared, you know? It deserves this, Pro deserves this. So, I never knew Pro as well as many people in the room, but I might have met him through Dome. Maybe just to give context of how we first met and the last thing he could have said to me. So when we met, Squatter Camp was established in the industry, and I had Pro in my car as an up-and-coming rapper. What I was doing, I knew he could rap so well, but because with Squatter Camp we were making songs, I was explaining him like bars, structures, musicality, all those things. and I was saying, you just rap a lot. It's dope, but you rap a lot, you know? So I gave him advice. That time, no one really knows Pro. Dome used to work at my house all the time and just do beats, and he left and he introduced me to Pro. A few months later, he was on his way to becoming more than an up-and-coming rapper, but an industry peer. That's not because he took any of my advice, by the way. That's because he did it his way, you know? But one thing that remained and always lingered between the two of us is respect. The last time we spoke, which was probably around June, and a few times maybe before that, he'd always reach out his hand to me, and he'd congratulate me on the work we're doing at Stick on Life, and he'd say, I appreciate how you're building the kids through your platform. As a peer of mine, that was not only encouraging, but it meant the world to me, because as rappers, we know we've done something right when one of our rap peers gives love, no matter what the circumstances, yeah? So what we do together when the music is done, the curtain closes and the light switch off, will determine the value of our competitive field. That means the value of the music industry. And I want to repeat that. What we do together when the music is done, the curtain closes and the light switch off, will determine the value of our competitive field in this music industry. When the light switched off, the music stopped and the curtain closed for Pro, we rose as an industry community. We all gathered our resources, talent, time, money, contacts, and the most powerful, influential, revered, and respected industry players came together to bring service providers, politicians, media, and brands. Yet, with all this being done, which I was watching, we still feel so powerless and helpless, you know? Pro's passing brought the industry back together, brought us back together in WhatsApp groups of like real beefs, like groups. We got tear gas in the group, you know what I mean? They just need to make a song in the group, you know? The WhatsApp group, though, is the generation of 2005 to 2018. And we've seen how our predecessors or legends have been exploited by apartheid, but we are now better. In fact, we are worse because we don't know when to stop competing and start building. As a collective, we've been reaching out for help. We're too worried about shifting the culture when we should be shifting our behavior. You see, the music industry, like the taxi industry, like the spaza industry, has one thing in common. It serves black people and it's powerful. Therefore, these businesses deliberately don't have structure, security, and if you work in any one of them, you become a casualty of the repercussions of a business that has no structure, right? Western businesses aren't creating products. No, hold on. I will be done. Please, TTP, please, man. Jeez. Just don't hate. It's the wrong place. Anyway, I just need to say this because it's important. Because I got you all in the room. Pro has got us all in the room. It is important. So, and I wrote this. I thought about this. Okay, so Western businesses aren't trading products with these industries, and if they are trading it, the premiums are high and they tailor-made for Western businesses. Therefore, what we need to realize is that all these white businesses have been built to have the structure to protect them and their employees, because in the end they serve white minority shareholders. The question is not why artists are dying broke. The question is why do black businesses struggle the most when it's black people that consume the most? What discussions are we having to create security products for our creative workforce while white companies are willing to invest in trade models for them? How are we getting together to teach the new generation to shift the behavior? Because that's the new culture shift. We got teachers, we gotta teach actors and musicians that making money from music doesn't mean you understand business or that you are in business. We gotta teach creatives that having a clothing brand doesn't mean you're in business. Having distribution, manufacturing plants, warehouses, investors, that is business. We gotta teach creatives that signing a deal with a brand doesn't mean you are in business. You are just clout. We gotta teach creatives that unless you are investing in a fully fledged business that has profitable income statements, you can't run a side business while you're an artist. So rather spend less during your prime, and when things cool down, start making decisions of your own. I have proof. How many artists who own businesses from 2005 are still doing the same thing today? Guys, there's proof. It doesn't happen, right? We gotta teach creatives that the big R you need to have is not only taking care of the rands, but the relationships. Foster relationships. You gotta be aware that we came together. We gotta be aware that we came together. We came together because of ProKid, and look at this. It looks good, but we all know what it took to get to this. If these kids consume our content by buying our music, they'll work in our companies that we'll build, and they'll have, if our companies have good conduct, and they'll work in our companies over any Western companies. These kids will build these companies with the patriotism because they came from the dust that we come from. The biggest deal that black people can have is coming together, not another brand. That's the biggest deal. This is no pie in the sky, and I know it can be done because the companies that are already doing it are using you, and me. You know, we're not scared or bothered of land, white people, white monopoly capital. We're scared that we aren't applying ourselves in United States with the little we have. Because the little we have is enough to change the paradigm. We're worried about the black lions believing that they're inferior, and in order to be superior, they need something produced by white capitalism. So don't ask why artists are dying poor when black people are dying poor generally. They don't own shit, they don't work in companies that are owned or run by them, or run by people who come from the same dust as they do. They have no reasons to be patriotic unless it's a check. The reason why we're in the spotlight for all our other black people who die poor is because us as artists, we have the power to change it as creators. The reactive behavior when one of us passes away has to stop. And I am taking the vow today to work on the change. And if you're in one of our groups, I'll be reaching out to you, and we're going to do this because you know what? The conversation is repeating itself.
Slicker started the group. Slicker has been with the family. You've been with the family every day, seeing them, and we will never meet in this platform like this again. So if there's an opportunity to awaken us psychologically, let's not be impatient. Because 3 minutes is not going to change the price of bread.
Okay, thanks so much, Slicker. Very important message that needs to be heard, and we have to obviously act on that after this. All right.
And Refuta, you the loudest.
Guys, I'll take the heat. Just don't give him a hard time.
We're going to proceed and...
So what's going to happen now?
Dream Team, please be quiet. Thank you.
Can we get Notenda on stage to give us a musical performance? Let's speak, not perform. Okay.
Notenda is a friend, pro. For those who know, show some love, ladies and gentlemen. Notenda.
My name is Notende. I first met Ulinda. I think I met him in spirit before I physically met him because I was working with people that had met him before me. And the excitement that they had in their voices whenever they spoke about Pro, it made me want to meet him. I was in a group with Umar's group called Playoffs, and one of the members of the group, Marcus, who's also passed on, Umarcus Begashala at Klipspread, so he was basically Linda's neighbor. And every other day, Marcus literally said, Pro Slaches. You'd never hear Pro without hearing Slaches. You'd never hear Slaches without hearing Pro. And everyone else who had heard of Pro was so excited, I wanted to meet him. And when I did, I really was blown away. I was blown away. I mean, I had met talented people in my life, but that day, there was something in Ulinda, and I think beyond his talent, it was the energy that he carried with him. You know, he believed not only in himself, but he believed in other people as well. Every chance that he got, he would lift us up. He would remind us, hey man, you know, you guys are doing great things. We push it, we push it. don't worry about whatever's going on. Keep going, keep going. He'd always want to know what's going on. How can I support you? How can I be there? Let's all go. Let's all be together. He loved unity. Unity was his thing because he realized that's the only way singakhula ngakhona if we actually stick together. And that's one of the things he tried to keep in his career as it went on. Unity was so important to him, you know. Linda loved having a good time. Linda loved music, you know. Yes, he was a great rapper and he was a wordsmith, but it was also good with melodies and creating these, you know, little melodies and choruses and whatnot, which I'm not sure if a lot of people know, but every time we're in studio, he'd come up with, I'm sure he celebrate now, he was in there. I feel like he did something, celebrate the day. And I don't have many words because I'm really I'm shocked by his passing. I hadn't seen him in a long time. I won't sit here and pretend like I was with him last week, 2 months ago. But the impact that he made in my life will forever live with me and be with me for the rest of my life, because he believed in me and he showed me the power of believing in other people. A lot of us get into the industry and we want everyone to talk about us. We want everyone to show us that we are great. It's always mina. With him, it was, have you heard Red Button in Fetu? Have you heard Usbanbani? Have you heard Usbanbani? I found a new dope rapper from Ekasi. He would always talk about other people while we were talking about him. And I think that's one thing we can learn from his passing, because I really feel like it should not be in vain. We really should learn from it and do a lot of self-reflection, because look at this man. Look at this, and I'm telling you, everyone that's in here, it's only 10% of the people that really would be here or want to be here. I know that he touched so many people's lives, not just everybody in this room, you know. And I want us all to just go home and reflect and ask yourself, am I giving my best? Am I giving my all? Can I sing Ikoras? Just Ikoras. Just 2 seconds. 2 seconds. So the first time I worked with him, I was very nervous because Linda's the greatest, right? And he said, Notende was a good. I knew things were gonna change someday. Yes, nothing will ever be the same. I can assure you that life is great. Oh, I'm feeling so good today. I will retire just to get what I want. Went from the bottom straight to the top. Never gonna stop. Oh, it's good cause I'm living the way I should. Rest in peace, my friend.
Thank you, Natenda. Still to come, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to have some performances, but we are going to urge everybody to stick to time, unless your name is Slicker. And I want to also acknowledge somebody who inspired me as an entrepreneur. The first time there was a big shift in culture, South Africa, when we started realizing we can make brands that can stand on mannequins on small street, that can be on the mannequins on Grayston or Sandton, was when Lokshin culture was introduced and 100% black owned. That was a great shift and a leap in culture. Most of us are wearing shades in here, but I rest assure you there's not a single black South African that owns their own Bassline. We all gonna turn up tonight. There's not 100% black owned spirit in the country, but my brother is here, the CEO of Lokshin Culture. Wondering, it's good to see you, my brother. Yes! Show some love.
My leadership means a lot for you to be here. Whoever thought hip-hop would take it this far? I started a business in 1997. People didn't take me seriously. It was only when I started going to the club. I saw most of my friends here. I can name them, Baning. And it was only at the club that the seed that we had really blew up. from the likes of Mischief, rest in peace, Mischief, Ben Sharpa, rest in peace, to Squatter Camp. I can name drop a lot of artists that have supported us. But tonight is about Pro. And there's no artist that showed me love like Pro. My relationship with Pro was based on a little phrase that him and I had, that a candle loses nothing by lighting another. I'll say it again. A candle loses nothing by lighting another. The most unfortunate thing is, or rather, the most exciting thing is that I spent about 12 years of my life with Pro. We had a lot of fashion shoots. Bengimlaha ngithi ntwana uyaphosa. Umrepo poser. He used to tell me like, have you seen CD covers? Bonka bomrepa bayaphosa. And he said I must respect him and call him Sir Pose, like he was supposed to do. This is a man whose career was fueled by three things: ease, passion, and representing Ikasi. It was easy for him to write. He was a writer, he was intelligent. He matriculated, I think, at 16 or 17. But he's too right. So parents that are out there, when you have kids that write, Pro's the proof. Parents, when you have children that are passionate about who they are and where they come from, Pro's the proof. I represent Ikasi until I die. Pro did that. It's very tough. I spoke to Pro about 3 weeks ago. This is where it's a clash plate boy, so this is very tough for me. But I think more importantly, the last words that I leave with you is and what I'd like to say to Pro is thank you so much.
Okay, so moving right along, thanks to Wendy there from Locksham Culture. The next batch of speakers is Mpho Benti from Benti Records, and former manager of ProKid, and beat maker, also produced some songs for ProKid as well. And then we're gonna have Max, who's a friend and a rapper, speak. Then we'll have Maiz Max. M.A. double. Sorry guys, I'm trying to keep time because we are live on television, and then you know time on TV is money. So we're gonna have DJ City Lights, that's Pro's brother, with Brian, Red Button, and Sean speaking. Then it will be closed off by my East performance, as well as Ivy League. Be on standby to do the Bucks Comes Up Bump Up performance.
Guys, firstly, I just want to say thanks to everyone who came through. It was hard for me to come and stand in front of you today. Being such a naive family, I don't think I can do this. But to give me, if Ulinda Vegana, because to go
I see it, bitch. Ungasabi.
I was like, you know what, I need to do this for my brother. Upro was a brother to me. Upro was a friend. Abakwavilalazi, abakwaKheswa, na abakwamkhize. I want to thank you guys for giving us Ulinda. I knew him as Ulinda. Everyone else knew him as Upro. Like, I got the opportunity to get to know Upro, Ulinda. Like a humble soul. Like, I turned that walk mood. Like, I'm like, yo, this guy. And right now I'm jealous of heaven because Pro will second. Uno Brenda Fast, Uno Brown Dash, Uno Roby. I love it. But this is unfair, yeah? When giving this stage, so I was actually thinking, normally they give you stage because of the Pro. Then Promangara, Melena, Angela, what's it, Betty, Pressy Play. I'm starting to give you stage new one. But I guess it is all well with God, you know? It is what it is. You just have to take it. And to all the artists out here, Buffett, you can't remember me, Buffett. This is the one thing that Pro wanted. Hence I keep saying Uti, he is happy wherever he is. Mbambani, Ispanisani. Yanam of it. Menamani to PR, Wenozoti. Oh, a PR. Thank you, sir.
The strong extended family and friends, liberated warriors of the land, community leaders, members of society, captains of industry, voices of this fraternity, my sincere condolences. Giving it a Bishara. It was an ordinary day, Sunday morning. We were 2 songs in on Heads and Tails. And Pro just out of nowhere he says, "You want a beat? I want this song. It must sound like you are breathing to a heartbeat." God, what do you mean? I want people, they must not feel like it's over when it's not. He then went into the room, into the studio, and he started breathing what you guys now know as that song would have not existed if he did not breathe into that mic. All of it was surrounded by his breath into the mic. Not my piano, not my beat, his soul. Linda was a believer. He spoke prosperity, painted songs, nothing but storytelling of the highest standards. 2 years ago, we were mixing a song and, "Hey, Mchana, you need to get your act together. Otherwise, it will be too late." Little did we know that it will be the last time we work together in the same room. Now, I can say we are here, but his art, his music, his love, his spirit of humanity shall stay with us. He's left us with the responsibility for us to all raise our hands, since Tumami. We are now soldiers that have to advance the economic emancipation in our lifetime. We must be driven, occupied by the flame and desire to get it done. Nothing else. Your spirit, Kabazel, lives on. Jankisan, may your soul rest in peace.
You know, the most interesting thing about MCing memorial services, with all due respect, don't change your script because of what I have to say. We all come here, we push this affirmative, solidarity, acceptance. I was working at Mandoza's memorial, worked at Robbie Malinga, and we are here today. I'm not saying let's not continue to thrive for that type of unity and solidarity, but I think we need to get to a conclusion that some of us are struggling with ourselves, and until we resolve our own personal issues, you cannot handle the person next to you's business. So I'm saying this because I don't want to hear it, or I don't want somebody to say it at my funeral. We gotta get to a point where this type of an occasion, what Slicker said and what everybody's saying, we are an economy as a people, but we're still in the lowest, at the bottom of the food chain. I'm praying from today, we go and leave this place and do some proper 1 week of self. I see again in social media, just deal with ourselves and be a better people. So we're going to proceed with the rest of the occasion, but it'll be a waste of your time if you came here and walked out the same person, because life is not a rehearsal. This is real. You are here right now because God enabled you to be here. Penny.
All right, I'd like to call on right now DJ City Lights, that's ProKid's brother, and his other brothers in the movement, Brian, Red Button, and Sean. So,
show some love. Thank you.
Sanibonani. Igama lami Sandile. City Lights Mkhize. Ngiyintwana kaPro. Ngiyintwana kaVita. Ngiyintwana kaSemsotra. Ngikhuliswe uLinda. uLinda bekangibamba ngesandla. Athi ntwana yami, it's after church. Awukhaphi. Ngisho ngimkhapha. Angibambile ngesandla. Tomorrow I've got school at that time and it's a Sunday. Siyabi sikhombe diploma. And then we'll do more. But okay. This now we are at Black Sunday, and he literally make me sit on the grass. Ngibheka bo rasta nje. Ngituthi yonke indawo. Kusha dance hall, kushi reggae, you know, but when it's time for hip hop, I'll always wait for that moment, because the first time I witnessed it, Pro collected a lot of people who were scattered. What Nagabambi Mike, abantu Bashanga, just to listen. So all I want to say is, I stand in abantu ababongayo. Mangithi danke uzothisa. Danke. Kuyo yonke into yenzayo, bonga. Phile nabantu. Ube umuntu wabantu. Khona manambele nje ntwana yami sekuyisikhathi sakho bangena. One thing he says, ungasabi. Asandi ungasabi ntwana yami. So to everyone, to the industry, to the friends, I'm with Brian, I'm with Sean, my cousin, I'm not Red Party, I'm not Gray. These people are the people that Pro would use for fresh knowledge, for young knowledge. You know, he'd use us like to don't have keep handing off, you know. So he always be like, oh, right. I steal the food, you know. And the thing is, he keep us like a Pro, thank you, sir. We used to run the streets for him. We used to move it like a drug. Thank you, son. And thank you so much, guys, for attending this. It's on the ball.
Kamalabu TV, so Brian Kamel. Kulene nayo insizwa yami leyo isandile sasebancane. Remember the time Satoshi Skolo just to listen to Pro first time on radio. Hey, sangine trouble by the same guy. Why Toshi Skolo? Understand? And for me, he was like a brother that I never had. And I'm hurt.
inside who is one guy with the biggest heart and did it for so many people. Yeah, I understand. But the love that he gave people, some of them never returned it. That's the honesty. And I'm going to speak what I have to say. You understand? Because Pro did so much for everyone. You understand? But did everyone pay back their dues? No. You understand? He started with Soweto, pushing Likas, and every rapper in Soweto contributed to what Pro was. You understand? Yeah, that's, hey, Father, I can't say much more, eh? But shout out to you guys, and all I have to say is Soweto. Okay, I go by the movement, but Kamaram DC. From Orlando West, then my the way being obsessed with Makona Mulinda. Mumabeka Kulmiri. They can take on Makulu. So obsessed with music, I'm from Zonetsa. Last week, I tried to meet in 2007. We met at 2 City. And I applied. Shabo, my 1808, in Ascension. I remember one day, we was on another place just to check out. It's okay. When I don't have to party, for me, born, ban, inside. How many years ago, and then he spotted me. I said, 1808, but I have now most of the time. Even Nana Matthew Fish, I remember one day at the corner from Fine Carriage. I was driving because of since 2007, even today. It's lazy so I should when I just keep your fresh thing, stay positive. Also cool about okay, ProKid and I mean I'm because of so international to me I know won't come to them in all the time, no man under my show because of very and I'm still proud of the city after this Panasans, at least you are push on in the city, he can be presented to Soweto. He was the city, the way we call he pushed me to Mabulinda, understand? Without Linda, city without me, there's no party at the end of the day. So and I know which most of they were the personal, now should maybe 80% down. Never call the buyers us. Never fail to tell them no matter late manner. Thank you, sir.
To those of you that don't know me, Kamamu Sean. I consider Linda Oputwam because we're black. We don't have cousins. Cousins, those are secretly. I was just one of the guys behind the scenes that you'd hardly ever see. But I just want to say something for a minute. One of my favorite lines when Linda was when Utimali Yapela mina nitutando ma. So even Mankuluma no windows, it's something that we used to practice not just in Kuluma, even in action. You know what I mean? In my opinion, every single person in this room has got 3 important things that they can never, ever replace. Right? It's your time, your life, and your family. So you live to the fullest in those 3 departments. Don't compromise. Not for nobody. Linda didn't. So if he could do it and get away with practicing 3 principles in his life, I think all of us in this room are more than capable. Thank you.
Batuji Nemo Pro. Thank you for listening to my friends, to my family. As carry on, and let's love each other.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, guys.
Can we get a performance?
Yeah,
Like some music. Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, please show some love for my boy, my E. His album is up now, featuring Red Martin. Yes.
And then after that,
Okay. That's the song I did. Put your feet in the air. Oh yeah, yeah, yo. Oh yeah, yeah, yo.
the next single that they're about to perform. And
Bamba.
it was one of the big songs, Bamba Bamba, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to be performed by both producers.
Yes.
Yes.
Including Super Mega himself.
So show some love for Ivy Lee, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you.
Look what Pro did. Look what Pro did. You know what? If it wasn't for him, honestly, folks, the beat CD that we had that had the song on it was going to double HP. And then we were out at Capello in Gandhi Square, and we invited him to the car because we were new. You know, we said we got some beats, bro. So I got, and he came and he listened, and he said, "There's no way this is getting to Java." And so Ipampa was the beat. He took it. We did a couple more. Actually, a whole lot more for him. But he did a whole lot more for us because that's where it all began. And these gents, you know, the journey has been tumultuous, has been interesting. But yeah, no, Pro has brought us back together for this moment, so we can say thank you to him and thank you to you, everybody who supported us throughout that. And so once again, make some noise for ProKid, yo. Make some noise. Linda, we miss you, brother. We could have all done better. But every time we're in a studio session, here was the MC who showed us just how easy it can look. Yet, he does it so well. And everyone who saw him after that will attest to that. He's probably the best rapper we worked with in our careers. And I'm going to leave it at that. I owe him a lot as far as my life is concerned. And I think the game owes him even more. I'm going to end it at that. Gents, you want to say anything?
No, I just basically want to say thank you to Pro. You know, Pro basically gave us our starting, you know, as IVD in 2007. I mean, for me, it was the first time I got to actually, you know, meet my idol in person, you know. So I want to give respect to Pro. Pro really put us on, did so much for all of us. And they know, you know, they're not enough words, but thank you to Pro. And seeing everybody here is just testament to how great a human being and an MC he was. So thanks, Pro. Thank you to everybody. Appreciate it.
It's tough for me, you know. I want to say like a funny speech and make everybody laugh and come with funny stories.
But for me today, I don't really have anything to do besides tell the story of how I got to where I am and how Linda helped me get to where I am. Me and Linda come from different worlds, you know. I went to a nice school, in private school, St. John's, and he was from a different world. He had no reason to uplift me to where he lifted me to. But he was charismatic, he was so smart. He was probably one of the smartest people I ever knew. He was insanely intelligent. So I started making beats with these young men, I believe. I don't know how did we even get in touch with them? Anyway, God bless, we got in touch with them, and I had, oh yes, you were on the radio, right? Nice. I'd been an artist. I was in a group when I was much younger, and we started doing the album Tanki San, no? And I wanted to be an artist, but at the time I was just a cocky, know-it-all, skinny, big ears, colored kid with the American twang, you know. And it's just cool. And I used those sessions to soak up everything that I could out of him. I looked at him and I thought, man, this guy is like something I've never seen before, because at the time it was maybe 2007, 6, 7, 8. And for me, coming from where I came from, I didn't understand everything that he was saying, but there was one song that really changed everything. If you guys think about it, Soweto is in all English. The whole song is in English. And he also had a twang, don't forget, at that time. And that for me broke down boundaries. And when I saw the Was a Wonder video, I was like, this is what I have to do. I have to make music. When I saw him racing Sid Money in that goosh, you know, and he got out and he just looked. And I thought this was the coolest guy I've ever seen, you know. And fast forward, you know, I was trying to do my thing. And I remember we had Roxy's once, and this was before, you know, when English was, you know, kind of like there wasn't many English hip-hop artists. And I asked him, you know, Pro, do you think like, and I was like starstruck, you know, to even be able to talk to him. He had that aura, he had that charisma, you know. And I said, yo, do you think I can do this thing in English? And he laughed at me and he said, you can do anything. And I took that and I ran with it. And the years went by, and I remember making I Want It All with Cooley. You know, Pro was like the other side. Like Cooley is my, you know, my one, and Pro is my other. It's like bananas and pajamas, P1 and P2. You know, and I always felt like I wanted to live up to that standard. So when I Want It All, when I got the opportunity, hey. So when I made a Want It All, I realized that this is my opportunity to make it big, you know. I probably gave my opportunity to make it big. And I don't know, I'm at a loss of words, man. One of the hardest things that I have to deal with, and Brian said something that's on point. He said, I felt like we could have done more, you know. I felt like we let him down, you know, over the last year or a couple of years. And one of the, hey! Yo, can I just say one more thing? I'm not a good speaker or anything like that. I'm just trying to speak the best I can. And I just want to say one of the hardest things for me is that I'll never get to see him again. You know, I'll never get to see him again. I'm sorry if I don't have an amazing speech for you guys, but I'm hurt, you all hurt. But I think he would have liked us to be happy, so let's have a motherfucking party, man. And let's celebrate it. So I'm sorry my speech wasn't that great. I just don't know what to say. Thank you, sir.
Yo, if you know ProKid's day one, I'm talking day one on stage, day one on tour. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome M.A. Double Chisel on stage. Yes. I know this is tough for you. It's gonna be the toughest day for you, Marks. Go ahead, baby.
My name is Mars. My name is Mars. I'm not a man of many words, except when I'm rapping, but it's been a tough week. That's my boy speaking, saying he's here. It's been a tough week, man. Just, you know, life is unexpected sometimes, you know. You don't realize how much time you actually don't have. You think you have all the time in the world to do whatever you want, but you really don't. You know, I stand here with so many regrets, you know. I wish I'd called him every week and spoke to him all the time, but that didn't happen. And I'm sad about that. I'm broken that we can't make music anymore. I mean, we're talking about the king. We're talking about everything a rapper should be. Represent where you're from, speak for the people. That's what he was. Humble person, down to earth, just a solid character all around, you know. He did more for others than sometimes himself. Career, like, he's been so instrumental in my life. The biggest thing Pro gave me, the biggest and the most precious thing I have that he gave me was belief. He told me and showed me that you have to believe. When we came in the game, there was only like Squatter Cam and Double HP holding the flag. We were performing amongst quite the artists, you know, opening up. And it looked dark, you know, no matter how many cars, but Snoop Doggy Dogg, Tupac. They would say, you know, but we believed, you know, we believed that we could change the mentality of the guys, you know. And we did that. No doubt, kid, we did that. You know, he did that a lot. You know, when I see kids at Kasi now, it's only but hip hop. And that makes me feel proud. And I know how instrumental he was in all of that. We've lost, guys. Like, we can look at it in whatever way, but we've lost. But one thing about Pro is that he's engraved himself in our memories. He's left a solid imprint in all of us who appreciated his music, and I'll forever be honored that I had a chance to work with him on so many songs. We made so much memories together. The synergy was real, you can't fake that. It was love, and I'll miss my brother, man. You know, I didn't even think I could be able to do this, but you know, just I'll miss my brother. And just to the family, please be strong, you know. Your strength is our strength, you know. When I saw Pro's mother the other day, she was so strong. I couldn't believe how strong she was, like. And that's what made me strong, because, you know, you're sitting at home crying and she's there, like, you know. It's okay, Danam, you know, it's life. We go on, and she knows what her son meant to all of us. And that is great, and that's a lasting memory he's left in the family. And that's a lasting memory he's left in all of us. So, everybody that ever loved Pro, rest in power, King.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Okay, I've been asked so many times, or at least you guys are sitting down, especially the media guys, the family can't see because you keep standing. So we're getting there touch. So the next one is a medley of two you know, we can't keep saying this is one of the best. Like, all of his songs just like touched people in such a big way.
That is so true. And also don't forget.
So today I was listening to Metro and Lerato, Khanyaho and Dineo. I think they were trying to do Sekele.
Oh.
Yes. It was very interesting.
Big songs.
Yeah.
And the song Sekele, call came in. At that time signed TK Glazers here, ladies and gentlemen. Said, touch. I know you heard Pro. This song is going to cause a problem from every radio station. But I want you to play it first. And it sure did. Sekele is responsible for a lot of you who dropped out. It's responsible for you who missed your exams. Because Friday, you were in the middle of a circle. But God is a God of second chance because you're here. So we might have to make a big circle.
Before another one, of course, I always say that you're not big as an artist if kids in the street don't know your song.
Yes.
Utini Pro. So now let's welcome Joe 985 Medley.
Show some love for DK 985. Oh yeah. Thank you, sir. Salman. That's it. Ninja. Chewy.
I'm taking it. I went now. Nigga,
RIP to the top.
Venus colors and fastest colors and shine. 1, 2, mic check, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, what am I gonna go? I'm to check this for life. Since your charge, I'm telling you everybody's alright. So no life. Come on,
records for that. So we're gonna put some pause. Bob's where are you? It's good to see you, man. I know I've been calling your name a lot, but this is the only man who went to university to study hip hop that I know. I think he's got a PhD in hip hop. Yeah, he's got PhD in hip hop. So it's good to see you. You must always acknowledge leadership. And speaking of leadership, ladies and gentlemen, Mama Faith, I saw you. Ladies and gentlemen, we are joined by the only two political parties on the ballot paper. They are here to show that ProKid was not just an influence in the urban space, but also he was so strong. I'm sure the rest of the cabinet is aware that there's a memorial service celebrating the first hip-hop artist to be signed to a major. And that is ProKid. I know Squatter Camp was a group, and they still are, but Pro was the first to be signed to a major. And to have the leadership here, thank you, ladies and gentlemen. A warm welcome for CIC, Mr. Julius Malema and CC. Mr. CC Compton. Thank you.
Take this opportunity to thank the two program directors and send my condolences to the family, in particular the wife of Pro and the parents and everybody else who's here today. I didn't come here to speak. I came here to listen to you speak, particularly the artists, so that you conscientize us about what you are going through in the industry, particularly the hip-hop artists. Now, because most of the time politicians we speak, and you can't speak and listen at the same time. And therefore coming here, we're coming to learn and see how best we can help to grow the culture and empower our artists. So I heard about the Pro's contribution, and you keep on saying Soweto. It is not Soweto he contributed to, because Soweto is a synonym for black people's place. So he didn't contribute to Soweto only. He contributed to the whole of South Africa and to blackness. Black people today are confident because of people like Pro, who are never ashamed of who they are and where they come from. They embraced that, and because they embraced that, they said, we want to better our conditions through the display of our talent. So every time a person says Soweto, you must know that person is referring to a place of black people. So whether you are in Kwamashu, whether you are in Sesheu, whether you are in Tanzania, you are represented in the word Soweto, because Soweto represents black people. So we are happy that many people came after the contribution of Pro. If you are a leader and you can't point at the people you have produced, then you must know that you are not a leader. You are just a selfless person, selfish person who's about himself. Leaders produce the first and second layer of leadership, so that when you go, the culture continues. So we know Pro is gone, but the culture stays, and the culture will grow because of his contribution.
Thank you, program directors. To the families, sincere condolences. To the wife, sincere condolences. There are things in life you can't change, which you must accept. It's both in the Bible and in theological studies. What is born must die. You've got to accept it. I'll tell you a story the other day. When we were in the youth league with Julius, we were in the youth league in 2005. Kufika lapha e-ofisini eLuthuli House, intwana encane ehloniphayo isibiza Pro, sibuza ukuthi ubani igama lakho. Ayayisho igama akulinda Mkhize. We had what was called online publication. And at that time we used to interview and do features about prominent individuals, especially in the creative industry. He was among the first we interviewed in 2005. And something fondly about him. Sambona eqala leso sikhathi intwana ukuthi akanamahloni ngalaphuma khona. He spoke nicely, fondly about, passionately about us. And the difficulty at that time, musically, there was a transition from Kwaito to a bomb rapper. And many other people could not manage that transition because Kwaito was very big at that time. But obviously, there was no platform for a bomb rapper. I'm happy that you have a story here. Because one of the things we fought hard, a bomb rapper don't have a platform. Because the first thing they'll come on, I go to a bomb rapper by a Tukana. And yet, those platforms are the worst lyrics as if a bomb rapper by pressure. Abatuga is a resident.
The only station at that time I can mention was YFM. Ibanikeza iplatform abomrefa because babengathukani but babe ilingwa yasekasi. Ilingwa yasekasi kuya understand ayithukani. Ibiza lento ngalendlela. Angizosho manje amagama. Sifuna ukubonga abomrefa, one of the things that I want to suggest you must do. Ningalishana. The past was rough, it was tough, because I've just said, the future is bright. Some of the biggest millionaires and billionaires, they are touch. In the American industry, they come from creative industry, why can't we have millionaires among you? Why must criminal the tourism? Why must criminal the tourism also where Soweto is not a township, it's now a city? Because part of the people who promoted lifestyle as a Soweto, masikhuluma nge-tourism eSoweto masingabashima mufethu wena kuhulumeni I'm not in government. These are the people who must acknowledge because they made Soweto to be what it is. Ikazi is a lifestyle and it's important that we must acknowledge those who made the contribution. Phila kahle ntwana, touch my blood.
Siyabonga leadership.
Babsizi kodwa Satemale Maralebo. We are going to proceed.
Alright, so we're moving on to ammunition. Yes, the foundation. First generation is going to come speak to us. We're also going to have Gigi Lamaine, who's going to come speak. And then we're going to have Dr. Sipos Tole, the man who got so excited hearing Pro on open mic set. He was like, what's that guy? I have to sign him. So he's coming to talk to us.
I think that's the reason why Carlo let him go. He was too much of a robust. He was so disruptive. Never seen a man who walks into a space and undo everything that Carlo was doing for years. But if it wasn't for him, we wouldn't have hip-hop on major record labels. So yes, show some respect.
Show some love.
The whole week I've been okay. It just hit me today. Just now actually, when I saw the speeches and stuff. But just to wrap it up, I won't be long. I just want to share to you Linda the MC, ProKid the MC. How we met, just like everyone else, we met at Lead Club, he wanted to jump on stage, sing Formula, and when we finally put him on, he killed it. And the rest is history. And the one thing I liked about a Pro, or that was very interesting, was every time we record, I would never have a posse track, like a group track, without having a Pro. How much you don't know, you know? And the cool thing about it is, everyone will be sitting there, I remember, they'll be sitting there writing rhymes, bayabhala ibikhlaza lo background. Ulinda will be like, ngoba isitulo besejardini, we know like, hey, Ntwana, I'm like the PlayStation. And he will go there and just chill there and play PlayStation the whole time. 2 hours later, he will come at Ntwana Jimmy Ntwana's game. And without fail, Ntwana will come in and drop a hard ass 16. And then everybody else, Prophet Meazi Jayam, you will drop that 16 first. Everyone, the 2 hours they took writing their lyrics, by our scratch. And my biggest regret is that we never got to do Para Boys. You know, him, me and Uselvin, we never got to do Para Boys. We effed up on that one boy. But
One thing I ask you to do, guys, remember Ulinda as the hardest MC to ever come out of this country.
My name is Gigi Lemaine, but I guess Upro knew me as Utina. Upro discovered me when I was about 14, rapping out in Gandhi Square, where a guy by the name of Rashid K was managing me at the time. I was one of the only females on the scene, Ningazi Luto, very vulnerable obviously, and I needed guidance. At the time, Upro had noticed Uhusi, I was very, hard-hitting with the lyricism. I'm also from the south side of Joburg. I can in Afrikaans, rapping is Zulu. And he was like, why aren't you trying to develop your pen in that way? And, I mean, that's exactly what I did. In 2015, he did something selfless and handed me over to another company, but he was always the person who would advise me at all costs. A lady here at the memorial asked me, why would you speak? And that's because Ulinda had a very soft spot for the feminine voice in hip-hop. Notende will, speak about that, and I will also speak about that. I'm a young woman in an industry where Pro, Ulinda, Uvita aimed to protect me at all costs. When things were rough, when I signed the wrong deals, when Uma needed help with money, Ulinda was there. My mother struggled to take me to school when I was about in grade 10, and Ulinda was there, no pansy, to come through and help with my school fees. Ulinda knew that I was a great rapper, but he said, listen, you need to go to school. And that's what I did, and when I graduated the next day, we went out and celebrated. But he always made sure, I think like Brian Nosandile said, that school was very, very important. And it's hard. It's really hard, but I think everything happens for a reason. And because we're all in this room as people who are part of the hip-hop movement, we have an obligation to Ulinda. To carry on the movement, to unite. It's all talk, and then after the funeral, we all disappear. So I think it's important that Batten, I was the first lady of MFE, Dankisan, Batten, Captain, everybody who was part of the movement, Deep Soweto, Hosia Shezi, we need to come together and create something special to preserve the Kasi rap. Kasi rap was not me. I started off as a little girl who was a Lauryn Hill fan, and Upro was like, you need to be the hip-hop Mshoza. You need to do that. You need to be able to speak to your people. And that's exactly what he instilled in me. People know, one of my fondest memories, and I spoke about it yesterday of Ulinda, was we went out to Ngomasi for a performance. Everybody knows he was a Biggie fan, and I'm a Park fan. So it was always a fight between us. And he'd always be like, Pop doesn't have a little Kim. You're my little Kim, and I'm Biggie. So you need to listen to me. Pop doesn't put no females on, Biggie does. So you need to listen to Biggie. Believe you me, I started doing exactly that. It was so important. Today I know Amu, I know Studio T, I know all the OGs in the game. I will speak up because Linda made sure he made those rounds for me as a young female artist to know where I'm from in terms of South African hip hop. So thank you to him for that. It's hard, but thank you to the family. Shout out to them. I can't imagine what you guys are going through. But we as South African hip hop, whatever you guys need, we are here for you. We will unite whatever you guys need. One more memory of Upro, we were out in Gomasi, like I said, and we were performing, and the crowd just wasn't being receptive. And I thought Uta was rapping my lungs out. And he stopped the music and he told them, Yazin, if you don't listen to this little girl, I'm not performing. Because her voice is equally as important as mine for the future. And if you can't do that now, I'm performing. Eventually people screamed because he had held them at a ransom. But the fact is, today Gigi Lemaine as the Kasi female rap queen because of Linda. Thank you for taking me to school when you did. Thank you for telling me to graduate.
I've only been in the music industry for a very short time. I've been from 2003. But I've stood at a podium like this about 20 times, launching artists that I had signed. I had never stood at a podium like this at a memorial of the death of the artist that I had signed. And this is a first for me. And I'm hoping that it will be the last time. I was here when we launched ProKid 2005. And it was jam-packed. It was touch and here you were saying. Never did I think that I'm 56. ProKid is supposed to be burying me, not the other way around. We can't be burying 37-year-olds when we are already over 50. Because they still have an assignment to do in this country. Our job is almost done. But I just wanted to say that, you know, we woke up on the 9th of August is a Women's Day, if you remember. We are supposed to celebrate women and the life that they gave us. But we woke up to the cries of women, crying about the death of a life that they had given us. And it was not supposed to be like that. But that is what happened. I was woken up by my wife, crying. I'm like, Ukalila, I to Pro, it's what happened. But Pro is no longer. Immediately a call comes through, and I look at it, I switch it off. And she says, why are you switching it off? I say, maybe it's the media, they want me to talk. She said, why would you not talk? Because I just heard what you just told me now. I cannot start in the media, I'm still trying to internalize it. Then I switched off my phone, switched it off completely. I opened my phone at 10 a.m. When I opened the phone, Gigi Lamayne was phoning me, crying. I could hear it. She was crying from the deepest of her soul. That's when it struck me that actually what my wife was telling me was true. And then immediately thereafter, Penny Lepiane called me, crying. I'm saying this is Women's Day, we're supposed to be celebrating the life and times of our women, not for the day of women to cry, on the day that is supposed to be their day. But that is what happened on that day. And I was reflecting, what am I going to say when I come there? You know, I joined Galo in 2003. I was coming from Johnny, the shareholder at that time. And Galo had about 47 artists in their active roster. And Galo was perceived to be this slow-moving, boring record label. And then I said, I'm coming here and we need to make a sea change in this organization. And we need to make it to relate and reflect and talk to young people. And for me, I had known that Galo had missed the Kwaito vote. All the Kwaito artists had been taken by other record labels. And I said to Galo, we are signing hip-hop. They did not understand what I was saying. And then I started signing what I later coined Afro Soul. I signed Squatter Camp. They became the first record artist to be signed to a major record label. We mainstreamed hip-hop at that time. I told hip-hop artists that stop romanticizing poverty. There's nothing so cool about bragging that when you are pushing your stuff from the back of your boot, from the boot of your car. Because when they want your album in Uppington, you're not going to get your album in Uppington. You need to participate in the mainstream of this business. We got Squatter Camp. Sugar Snacks was 19 years old when we signed. His mother had to sign for him. He was so young. At the time that I signed him, even though when I signed him, when he released his album, he was 24 by the time. But why did I get into hip hop at the age that I'm at? It was not about the beat, because I did not sign hip hop because of the beat, because I can't even dance to the hip hop beat. When I used to dance, but it was about the message that is carried in the music itself. And I was so into this message. I was analyzing words that I was hearing. But it had also become very apparent that hip hop was fast stretching itself as the voice of the voiceless. It was the influential artist voice of young people and the new social force which we are beginning to see now. Last year we had figures that America hip hop was the biggest selling genre in America, and I'm sure it is exactly the same in South Africa, but we never dreamt of that back in 2003. I did not envisage that was going to happen. But we are here to remember ProKid. And as I said, he was only 23 when I signed him. But he used his lyrics skillfully in the music, in the beat. And I must say, these kids came here about Dome, about Old Men, about Beatmaker, about Nyams who are making this music. These are brilliant producers. But I just want to get to just the song itself. I want to analyze the intro. If you listen to the intro of ProKid's album Heads and Tails, it's at 2 minutes and 32 seconds. When you listen to that intro, it takes you through, I think, about 2 minutes of sounds of the township, of him walking down the street. You can visualize that he's walking in the neighborhood. But as you walk, you can hear Aboma Grizabang greeting ProKid. You can hear his sister across the fence greeting ProKid. ProKid is greeting back. You can hear my jazz at the corner, and maybe they were selling cigarettes, or people selling amagui. And if you were to see that, if this was a video, you could see that ProKid did this deliberately, and Dom spoke about it. He did not start an intro about waking up or driving a Bugatti or going to Palito. He was actually reflecting that I am now moving from a place that I'm comfortable at, that I've been brought up, I'm from the streets, and he used those lyrics skillfully to try and address the issues Comrade Sisi and MEC and Babu Kusumuzi and the CIC that I'm addressing in my hip-hop thesis that I wrote. That people must stop dancing to the beat, but then listen to the message that the youth is saying. Because if you stop dancing to the beat as politicians and listen to the message, you will actually get to understand what is going through in the daily life struggles of black people in the townships. You don't even need to go to Mbizo. You just need to get the album, listen, take notes, and go and influence policy back in Parliament. That's very why. Now, just lastly, I just want to say that if you listen to this album, the song Una Pelo Moya Sana, it's exactly the reason why I said you must listen to it. Because you are saying even back in Desert, Una Pelo Moya Sana. At the end of the song, this is what ProKid says. ProKid says, this one is especially dedicated to you out there, suffering. Fede Nixcow, Nama Uplomade Darekodin, Uspushela Ama Orange, Uspaisela Impep, Huzugas by one day was over grand. Yes. We ask this song and listen to this Dosiachi, Fede Next is your boy Pro. You know, letting you know that the song showcase once again is Pro. Beatmaker in the back. What? That is what Pro was preaching, to say never be in despair. Things will be better. And I think we can take a leaf from that. He was a master lyricist. He was a punchline MC who ProKid can hit with punchlines from here until Stargaze. Punchline after punchline after punchline. And this is who he was. I still have a beef, Ayanda, because as a ProKid. ProKid and I know Nom Jakes went to Downtown Studios just before we finished the album. And I said to Pro, I've got a vision that you must do a gospel track in this album. We are doing Jakes. Jakes is very good when we come to this song. I think, no, late Robbie Malim song. We are there, we do 3 songs. We ask ProKid to choose one song and rap on it, a gospel track. And I'm saying to him, my man, ProKid, but no, I mean, I want to keep it real. So when Juke released the gospel track after that, and the song went up, I was like, Pro, but I told you, son. You know? And at that time, there was no gospel artist that was doing a hip-hop gospel track. But if it had not been for ProKid, I would not have found Zulu Boy. I launched ProKid in Durban after launching him here, and then I found Zulu Boy, I signed Zulu Boy. After that, I went and launched Zulu Boy. I found Uzak. ProKid gave birth to these young cats. Even though F.E.S. that is not here today, and I just want to say to the family, thank you very much. If F.E.S. is here, I would want you to please ask F.E.S. and listen to F.E.S. and hear how ProKid and influence of F.E.S. We are with you in your cries, and we are with you all the way. And I want to thank the guys that arranged this hip-hop WhatsApp group, which we called Hip-Hop United for Pro. I think I was the oldest in that group. And I'm still, and we're going to keep it. And thank you very much.
Thank you, Bob Starlin. Truly appreciate your journey. I know very well that you played a very significant role in hip-hop. Mr. Songman, you and I don't have a PhD degree. When a doctor speaks, let him speak, Chief. Until you graduate, you'll stop it.
Thank you, Dr. Starlin.
So, we're gonna, is F.E.S. here?
Well, if he is, he must come to the side of the stage because we just want to talk to him. Okay.
What you got, Penny?
We're moving on to the next item now. You're going to introduce the next performance.
Oh, man.
Oh, you want me to do the next?
You know what? We can do it together because this next performance is an amazing collab. So you go straight to it.
Ladies and gentlemen, Bassline, stand up for AKA and Kuli China.
Yo. You ready? Let's take it back. I'm running ball from the sky to the ground when they hit the floor. So I can see my voice and soul. And so much I'm in my voice and soul. Touching up the sun, chase and soul. One time I'm my face and cold. Stop, drop, hit the floor. So I can see my voice and soul. And so much I'm in my voice and soul. Touching up the sun, chase and soul. One time I'm my face and it all. Cause story, cause pain and war. Kids all in the name I bought. So the game I bought. So the takes to be great, my boy. If I'm anybody that came before. To the world on a wish list. Every day will be Christmas. The 25th is tomorrow. Skinny fit girls in the club on a Saturday night. But I ain't like Christians tomorrow. So Lord, everybody knows for my comrade. When I see the city like comrade. Beginning the highway. So we can stand at the finish of house race. That's the strength of a dreamer. Living my dreamer. Telling for really 20 inches in a beamer. Make some little movie now. I'm running off from the sky to the ground. We hit the floor. So I can see my voice and soul. So much I'm running my voice and soul. Touching like a Spanish face and soul. I'm tired of my face and cold. Sky, ground, hit the floor. So I can see my voice and soul. So much I'm running my voice and soul. Touching like a Spanish face and soul. I'm tired of my face and cold. I believe that I'm
So I said I'm gonna come back, I'm gonna go to the bar, I'm gonna turn this into a party. So Ayanda, the Kiza family, is dedicated to you. I love you guys. Right at you! I know we just said the day. So we roll out on these expedition, we all evil ways. Let's go! Let's go! Come on, get to the bank. Sing! I know, we just say the day. That's a roll in them keys and I tell y'all people, don't forget you. Let's go, everybody go sing that shit. Go, don't forget you. Don't you know that Linda's on the way? Yeah. Linda's on the way, yeah. Don't you know that Linda's on the way? Thank you very much.
This fell off the stage, I would have picked it up. But if I did, you would have realized that there's a problem in my head. So I left it on the floor just to show you that sanity kicks in. When AK is on stage and things fall, don't pick them up because they're going to keep falling. Because he's a performer. Ladies and gentlemen, let me bring another performance of somebody who I think the exception of ProKid's music career was there when the first beat played. He's going to speak. Okay, well he's going to speak, but if you didn't know who Omen was, Omen, you know Omen, you know the songs. Welcome my brother.
And Omen is responsible for the musical production of what you see here today. He put everything together.
Can we just show some love? We put together this event. Thank you.
Sanbona. Ninja. College, ngizothi baba Mkhize and all the family nje exhumene noLinda ngikhala nani. You know, it's one of those, it's like a bad dream. I don't even know how to feel. I remember when I first met Upro is Hamba, like down. I mean, you guys probably heard all the stories, but I remember hearing him rap Ellie Club. Very skinny boy, the Asylum Tribe, you know, and I thought to myself, one day I need to do something with this boy, you know. So a couple of years later, we say Southgate, there's Pro, we are sevens, and I'll probably skip up, you know, busy in retail. I'm like, no, you don't belong here, boy.
me and you, remember it's just a kuluma when so shy train. So I took Pro, there's a studio, Ayoville, that's busy base to base. We used to, that was our backyard, you know. That's where I did my first single that I'd given to A Voice of Soweto first. And then, in fact, it was with Uzek. I think that's when he had moved to Metro with Penny, and that's where he played my song. And I think that's where heard. That's where he heard the song. And as they say, the rest is history. My biggest regret is every time when I travel all over the place, you know, people don't really know what I look like. They heard the name Ola Oza, or you know, all those references. They've never seen who I look like because I've been the guy at the back, and that's where, you know, I preferred it. But those that knew, when are you doing something no Pro? And I used to always tell him, nah man, we're doing something years and years, and my biggest regret is that it never happened. So I'm declaring it right now in front of everybody. In front of everybody. I'm working on that tribute album, got Pro, so it's gonna be you best believe. So keep your ear out on the street, and I like to say, in the spirit of a Pro, thank you, Santiago.
Thank you, Roman, thank you, and let's get excited the same way when the album drops. Because it's easy to... No. Get excited to go on iTunes, Tidal, Spotify, and buy the album. It's tribute to Pro, and we don't know, what it will do for that beautiful angel in our midst. Ladies and gentlemen, from one O to the next O, who is the founder of the South African Hip Hop Awards, please help me welcome Mr. Osmic on stage. Thank you.
My name is Osmic Manwe from Retro Media Group. We sadly do the Back to the City Hip Hop Festival. I'm sure you guys saw Pro there, and sadly we also do the South African Hip Hop Awards. And the reason I came up here and I asked this gentleman to give me the spirit to come up here, because I think we all have a story with ProKid, and I met him about 17 years ago when I was a little kid. He also was a little kid in Lee Club. And for those who don't know what Lee Club is or was, Lee Club was a club where a lot of us in the crowd went and gathered, and it was started by this gentleman here called Bradley, right? Or Biani. And that's a space where, the likes of Amu would see them there doing their thing, the likes of Mr. Salvin, the likes of Kenny there. The point of my speech is, outside I've been asking people, I've been shooting and asking, what do you think Pro's legacy is? And I'm sure earlier on you guys saw a video that was speaking about his legacy. And that's a very important word, because I think sometimes a lot of us don't realize what a person's legacy is when they're alive. And we only start thinking about what their legacy is when they're gone. And I think when you go home, start thinking to yourself, what is your legacy sitting here? What was this man's legacy? Because for me, it's a guy that for the longest of time, he's always been the dude from, because I come from Botladi and he comes from Botlebspruit, Jablani, That's Deep Soweto. Deep Soweto? That's some people from Deep Soweto right here. And for me, he represented that spirit to say it can be done, because we come from an era of the culture where they told us it can't be done. But here's a guy from Deep Soweto and showed us that it can be done, And I'm also here to say, we're here to make sure his legacy lives on. I'm sure some of you guys are aware that we're busy doing the South African Hip Hop Museum. So I'm here to tell the family we're here to ensure and to make sure that the next generation to follow will understand what this man's legacy is. And once again, I know my time's up. Pro, I'm
sure you're here in spirit, knowing what we're doing here, brother. May the soul rest in peace.
Thank you so much, guys. Thank you. So we're getting closer to the end of the program, and it's going to dawn on all of us that as much as we're celebrating a life, we've lost one of us. And all these stories that we've been hearing and looking back is going to trigger a lot of things in all of us. We're going to remember our loved ones that we've lost, and it's going to be a difficult journey moving from this point. Before we call on the next performance, I'm going to do a prayer, because when Pro had this song and this artist performing, he spoke to Pumza and said, I need to get on the song, and this was recently. And this song is a prayer. The truth of the matter is we're going through so much as a country, as a generation. We've been dealing with a lot of issues around depression. So I'm going to say a prayer of depression, and those who know, they know why we need to do this prayer. Dear God, I feel such pain, anxiety, and depression. I know this is not your will for me, yet my mind is held in chains by fear and paranoia. I surrender my life right now to you. Take the entire mess of all of it, now too complicated to explain to anyone but known by you in each detail. Do what I cannot do. Lift me up. Give me a new chance. Show me a new light. Make me a new person. Dear God, this depression frightens me. Dear God, please bring me peace. Amen. Anati is going to perform for us right now, and the song is called Tiko on a Faith. It's our cry and it's a prayer. We are asking God to remember us.
Sure. I want everybody to stand up one time for Linda. Keys at one time, let's go. Come on. Hey, chicken fefe, skoni sigoma disenza, koni sigoma lemele dilenza, tanda zobuzo sabenza. Hey, chicken fefe, skoni sigoma disenza, koni sigoma lemele dilenza, tanda zobuzo sabenza. Abantu baselani, bafuna disinga digeza, tanda zobuzo sabenza, tanda zobuzo sabenza. Abantu baselani, bafuna disinga digeza, tanda zobuzo sabenza. Come on. I get the blessings on my grave, on my grave. Hey, chicken fefe, skoni sigoma disenza, koni sigoma lemele dilenza, tanda zobuzo sabenza. Hey, chicken fefe, skoni sigoma disenza, koni sigoma lemele dilenza, tanda zobuzo sabenza. Abantu baselani, bafuna disele igeza, tanda zobuzo sabenza, tanda zobuzo sabenza. Abantu baselani, bafuna dikile defense, tanda zobuzo sabenza. Come on. I don't feel the same way. All my angels, God, I was need everybody to say that. I told God all my secrets. Hoping you can keep them. I've been running from my demons. I made mistakes, I want to keep repeating. Time is over, so bad. Where's the Chris? Music, let's go.
We are going to have a moment of silence. Today is a very special day, difficult day. We're going to have a moment of silence for the Marikana massacre.
Yes, indeed.
We're going to have a moment of silence for Mama Sobukwe, who passed away a few days ago.
And
we're going to have a moment of silence for Mam Goko Quineth Ndaba from Doke House, who also passed away yesterday.
And now recently.
And we're going to have a moment of silence for Aretha Franklin, the Queen of Soul, who passed away while we started during the memorial service.
Sure.
And we're going to have a moment of silence for Pro.
Indeed. So may we all please stand as we show our respect to our fallen soldiers. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you.
You may be seated. I've just realized in the past two performances, God is in the epicenter of both songs. Don't forget to pray. And what Anachi just performed now was truly a prayer that shows if we make room for the Almighty, He'll make room for us to evolve and thrive in society. So truly speaking, the hip-hop community, shout out to you for putting your spirituality in your lyrics. Continue to do so.
Right now we're going to have Red Button and DJ City's performance of Makasana and Apendo.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, sure.
Almighty, you and I,
you should do stuff. You more than with the new stuff. You're only big, all the things my album from the music show. And I'm gonna go to the next for free. I'm gonna not get to play with the beats. But I'm gonna say to me, it's time. I'm gonna speak to the best of me. So who never became it? I want the Bible changes, so I don't take it. But you will never make it. When you just pay it, I'm gonna take it. The costume is vacant. I'm gonna shake it. Manufacture the table. All day, every day, till I'm sick to the bread, man. It's quite dark. Come in again, so let's just sit to the doorway. We quite dark. That's living, you taking me to the old days. Now when you see me, when you really hear me, you know it's good again. You like me and pass. I'm far away. I'm gonna see my casa, keep my shit. Kiki, mas muita uma casa, keep my soul. I'm here for me, mas muita uma casa, keep my shit. Kiki, mas muita uma casa, keep my soul. I want to see you and I, to the day time. Oh, you and I, to the day time. Oh, you and I, to the day time. We unify, and we'll never try. So we can
to this pathetic darkness. I'm here to watch us. No, I'm a part of it. This needs to be here. Who's who I'm replacing? I'm here to watch us. If you can tell us what you find, you define yourself. I'm here to watch us. Share the process, keep the system. Watching this, better get you better pop up. I'm here to watch us. 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 Santana, what is you? He's strong.
Okay, so that was one of the most powerful songs
heartfelt
that
performances
moves
as well.
anybody. If you feel down in your life, listen to that song. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to acknowledge the Arts and Culture Department is here today, representing, speaking on behalf of Minister Natim Tetwa, the DG, Bassline Keys is also here to show their support from Cabinet, and please help me welcome the DG of our Arts and Culture, Babu Kize. Over to you.
Sanibonani. Kumndeni wakakhabazini omavovo ogcwame nenemkhanya masiswini sithi akuhlanga lungehlanga MEC namhlanje sihlangene la ngoba sifuna ukucelebrate the power of creativity and innovation by our young people. But through this, we are also here to pay tribute to one of the legends while very, very young. A proof that ubudoda abukhulelwe. As we today here inscribe the narrative of urban culture, let it be known that truly we have traveled and still have a long way to walk among the best that South Africa has to offer in culture. We are born with talent. And if you think of the song that says, young, black and gifted, the only place where you can find that true expression, it is through South Africa's young people. Pro did not do this, but he was born out of a culture and environment that inspired him to represent the wishes and the deep cry and deprivation of South Africans. Therefore, ours is not to sit back and let his legacy die as a department. And I'm glad that I'm talking on behalf of the minister here, Minister Natim Tetwa, who has been with the family from the beginning. Now, what we want to say to you is that firstly, let us acknowledge and nurture the talent that the young people of South Africa have here. Let's make sure that through culture and through your creativity, South Africa is a better place. And we as a department, we commit that we must continue to work together with you. Because ProKid have shown us that in the young people and in the culture, South Africa has a brighter future. Now, he was an ambassador for our country. You can be that ambassador too. But Pro, through his music and swag, he was representing our identity, particularly in the auction culture. Silko spoke a lot here around the issue of empowerment and the radical economic transformation we want to achieve. But creative industry is a golden pot that we must mine together with you. We must create that environment so that at the end of the day, when we meet here and we do not just mourn, but we celebrate the excellence that you, our young people, has given us. With those words, the minister had this to say to the family and to the nation, that at the most basic level of music, it is important because it makes us think. It opens up us to wonder, and it sometimes astonishing possibilities of language. And the issue of language is because he did not have to use English. The message of what conditions South Africans live in needed to be communicated as raw as they are, and for people to understand that you speak their language. And that's what Pro did. And therefore we say, as the minister's message, ProKid took rapping in African languages to great heights, and he will go down as one of the greatest and most influential hip-hop artists of his generation. We would like to say, may his soul rest in peace. And Okabazela, this is not because it's just a family matter, but it's because it's a nation's issue. Ngakho sithi nilale ngenxeba niduduzele. Ngizocela u-MEC wethu umama uMasibuko eze ngaphambili eze alethe i-message yaseGauteng. Kodwa duduzekani mndeni wakakhalazela. Siyabonga.
Thank you very much to the program directors, Uchibo Touch, Penny, Sanbonani, Dumela, Ola Bangani Ola, Chovicho Bangani Chovicho, Ola Mani 50K Ola, Ola Song, Nakini Kesa Kasakaneba, I'm trying to put up Valena Mans. To the family, especially Mrs. Ayanda, Kanyenengane, to the mother and Abomalume, Nabobonke Bundenu Mkize Noravidagasi. I'm a politician, Zayati, all protocols observed. Benzenugutuma Maberma Balong Kamalabuma Patea. As the Gauteng provincial government will want to send our condolences to all the fans and the music industry. ProKid. As the Gauteng government, indeed, we have lost one of our greatest assets in the music industry, who made rap to be liked by many young and up-and-coming artists. We always took rap as something that was only done by those who lived overseas. But he made it very fashionable, especially as Gauteng, we usually say Gauteng is the home of the artistic excellence. And the arts and culture industry is still the only industry in these tough times that is still also contributing a double digit into the economy. Earlier on, Sonke Usilko, when he spoke truth to the power, he said this industry is very exploitative. And as artists, we must make sure that arts and music must be able to create business, especially amongst yourselves, and make yourselves more better and better and be able to live amongst yourselves. We can speak many things about the time, about royalties, who's a throne land. But what is important is that you must be united and not only allow yourselves to be exploited. To the family sitting as a Zulu, and when God has requested one of his people to come back to him, we must respect his decisions. We know and to all the artists, in honor of ProKid, please help us to nurture all the talent, especially young people that are still at school. And forever will forever remember his memory. Igakhulu mangabe ebesidansisa kakhulu enokuthi dankisa.
Thank you. I'm Kize. Mama Faith. But to you most, Katim Kize, I know your office is refurbishing the downtown studios.
Yes.
A lot of artists don't have access to quality studios. Hence, music compilers and radio stations don't play this. So, to those who don't have brown paperbacks to bribe music compilers to play your music, which is evil, I am urging you to find out where downtown studios are, because the Office of the Arts and Culture is responsible to make sure those are accessible to you. Make use of those studios. They are still the best studios in South Africa.
In the country.
Lady Smith Black Mambas are recorded there. International projects, Jabu Kanyile, Quincy Jones. Those studios, don't take them for granted. I think they are in Moy Street.
Yes.
Yeah. And there's a lot of security there because of the APSA building. And before they left, they invested a lot. So I know it can be a bit risky in the evening because most hip-hop guys get turned up in the AMs. But make use of the studios. Make use of them and let's produce quality music. To any music compiler that is here, shame on you if you need to be paid to play the song of your fellow artist.
Okay, so what's going to happen right now? You heard about the tribute album that's coming up. There's a big announcement that Slicker is going to talk to us about, and this is the concert. Slicker?
Slicker is back. Don't cut him.
Yo, so guys, as you know, Pro had a 3-year-old daughter, and the industry, the rappers, we're coming together to do a concert on the 26th of August. Hashtag ProKid tribute concert. All the money raised as artists that we've already raised, and on that concert we're going to actually put it in a trust for ProKid's daughter. So on the day, so the concert is on the 26th of August, and we're going to have people like AKA, Ammunition, Black Liz, Casper Neves, Delez, Gemini Major, Gigi LeMay, HP, Juke, JR, Kid X, KO, Questa, LTD, Mai, Maxo, Max, Nadina Kai, Nintendo, Doxa, Envy, P.O, Reason, Red Button, Rouge, Scholar Camp, Stogie T, Solo, The Better Gang, Yana, and Zabs. And on the DJ side, we're going to have DJ 1D, DJ Capital, DJ City Lights, DJ Dimples, DJ Fresh, Major Leagues, Milkshake, Mr. X, Miss Cosmo, DJ Ridge, DJ Switch, DJ Vigilante, DJ Zaimaya, DJ Zambi, and our MCs Alika Sumba, Loot Lab, Musli, and Sandila GQ. If that's not us getting together, I don't know what we're talking. So we need you all to get your tickets at Company Ticket. It's 100 Rand. Let's do it for our brother Pro. Let's go.
Thank you. So, right now, when tickets go live.
Zone 6.
It's Zone 6. Thank you so much.
When tickets go live, ladies and gentlemen, make sure that you buy the tickets, even if you're not going to be there. Buy those tickets, because this moment is paramount for us to all stand as we're about to do our vote of thanks. I want to thank you for being a very modest and respectable crowd. You did a great job for a hip-hop memorial. It's the first time we bury a prominent hip-hop artist. And to everybody who came today, God bless you.
Thank you. Solo artist, he means.
Solo artist, excuse me. But give yourself a round of applause for just being an amazing, good crowd to support the family that is here in front of us today.
Okay, so I'd like to, we're joined right now by Pro Linda's brothers. Tlatla is going to speak on behalf of the family and some of the family members. And Nokanyezi, as you can see, she's there as well. Just to give a vote of thanks and tell us about the details as well for the funeral on Sunday.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Before I say the vote of thanks, Linda's older brother, the eldest of the brothers, is here and would like to say just a few words, please. Program director, I know it's not part of the order, but thank you for the opportunity. Ntanta.
First of all, I'd like to thank everybody for coming out. There's one thing I wanted to say before I started the whole speech. No must be I wanted to use it as an intro. I said, Nagi speaking. You know what, guys? The first thing I'd like to say is, Olinda had a little secrets on how he would write his lyrics. The other day I was speaking to DJ Fresh and I said, you know what, guy? We used to wake up at 4:30 in the morning because at that time we had, I think it was called TV1 or whatever the channel was. But during that time there was a playlist that would play between 5 until 6 in the morning. At that time we knew the playlist so well